John Thornton here, allproblogger.com with my Week 4 recap of the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. I went to the game yesterday, so I got to see it up close and personal, and I came away from it with a few observations. Going into the game, I felt like the Bengals would win. We talked about that here on the site last week. It was probably the only game besides the opener that I felt like they would win before the game. So even after they lost, after the Bengals lost last week to San Francisco, I felt like the matchup with the Bills would be a better player matchup for the Bengals. If you look back to last year, the Bengals had a lot of success against the Bills in the first half here in Cincinnati. And then the Bengals secondary went down with a bunch of injuries. I know Jonathan Joseph got hurt. I think Morgan Trent got hurt, or somebody. It was a few guys that went out, and they really struggled to match up with the Bills' wide receiving core after that. So that loss, I know, was still fresh in the Bengals' minds once they started to look at film of last year's game. And also, the Bengals sort of feel like certain teams they can beat. If they feel like a team that they're on par with and that team is getting a lot of credit, that sort of drives them a little more. So just listening to a lot of the comments after the game, even listening to Marvin Lewis's press conference last Monday, I knew what kind of mindset this team will be in. So that's why I quickly said last week, I think it was on Tuesday, even on Twitter, I said the Bengals are going to win this game. And the game itself didn't play out like I thought it would. I thought the Bengals would play a much cleaner game offensively. I thought they would play a pretty good game defensively, but it didn't turn out that way. I mean, it was a sloppy game in the beginning. Offensively, the Bengals really didn't play well. I mean, they ran the ball at times well. Cedric got some big runs. Andy Dalton probably played his worst, or he did play his worst game of the season. To me, that's troubling in the sense that the team is going to be up and down because as a rookie quarterback, you're going to have ups and downs, but he was way off early on. He had a really good second half, but his first half, they were about a play or two of allowing the Bills to really push this thing out of hand. And, if it wasn't for the defense playing good football, I didn't think it was a great performance. The Bills, once they got going, got some plays, and it looked like the Bengals defense was soft at time, allowing easy catches and things of that nature. But for the most part, it was a gutsy win. The team came back towards the end. They did everything they could. They got some help from the refs. That one catch, I think, it looks like it was a catch. Stevie Johnson went down and got it, and it looked like Nate Clemens knocked it out. But the replay, after we saw it a few times, showed that it was a catch. So, sort of like the Browns game, the Bengals got some help, in winning it. But a win is a win, But some positives to come out of the game. I thought that defensively, not allowing Buffalo to get the run game going, I think that helped. It really put the focus on Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Bengals forced him to really throw from the pocket most of the day. The defensive ends got a lot of pressure. They got late pressure, too. It wasn't like they were just beating their man around the edge. But I thought the defensive ends were sliding off of blocks and getting in Ryan Fitzpatrick's face. Michael Johnson, the Bengals ran a lot of stunts with him, and he sort of became the inside rusher using his 6'7" frame to get in the quarterback's face. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is a smaller quarterback, around 6', 6'1", I think. So getting his face in the middle was good. I didn't think it was a good day for the inside rushers. Their pass rush, these guys were stuck on the line of scrimmage a lot. So that's one area I think they need to improve, which is getting that inside pressure from the pass rush guys. And it's not like the defensive tackles have to get that rush. But on third down, the Bengals bring in John Fanene. They bring in Robert Gathers. And those guys, sometimes Frosty Rucker, those, and Geno Atkins, those guys have to get better rushes and beat the one-on-one rush, because a lot of times I saw that the guy that had the one-on-one didn't beat his guy. So that's something that they have to improve on going forward. The secondary played okay. They were off a lot in coverage, allowing the Bills to get some catches. Maybe that was by design because, Buffalo, from everything that I've read and I've seen, they run, have some good routes and things that will confuse defensive backs and get guys picked off. So maybe that's why they were playing off a little more so they could really have the guy in front of him and just make a tackle. Leon Hall made some big tackles. He was one-on-one. Even when his guy got the catch, he really rallied and made some big stops, not let those guys get yards after the catch. So it was a good day there. The tight end didn't hurt the Bengals like it did in the previous weeks. So the safeties, were playing better. And I thought Mike Zimmer called a great game defensively, always bringing pressure when it seemed like they needed it to keep the Bills off balance. Chris Crocker really disguises his blitzes really well. So offensively, the Bengals, the offensive line did a good job in the run game. I think a guy that's really having a solid season is Nate Livings. And, during the preseason, everybody sort of got down on him after the first preseason game against the Lions. But Nate is a powerful guy. He's pass blocking well. He played last week against Justin Smith, and I thought he played really well. So Nate is a guy that I noticed yesterday finishing his blocks, getting out on the edge on screens, and really getting his guy on the ground. So Nate played well. Kyle Cook was getting to the second level to getting the linebackers on run plays. So the right guard position is up and down, but Bobby Williams is coming back, and they've really, going 2-2 and, having the rookie bowling in there and subbing him out with some other people. So I think the Bengals, they came out okay at that position. And Andre Smith, he's having some trouble with guys coming around the edge on him, giving up pressure, sacks, things of that nature, jumping off sides. He has to settle down and play. One of the things I was really encouraged by was that the Bengals went downfield a lot more, something they didn't do against San Francisco, and I was really it was kind of bizarre why they didn't attack more down the field, because they have some guys that can go get the ball. A.J. Green, that's what he does. He did that at Georgia. Jermaine Gresham, another guy, same mode as A.J. Green, where they may be covered, but you can throw the ball to him because, A.J. Green's 6'3", Jermaine Gresham 6'5", 6'6", tall guys that can jump as well. So a lot of times you can just throw it up to him, and that's what Andy Dalton did when he was in trouble. And Andy had a poor day throwing the ball, and just throwing it up to those guys, giving them a chance to make the catch, what was the best, were the best plays that the Bengals ran. And if it wasn't for those, I don't know if they'd won this game. But A.J. Green made some outstanding catches. So did Jermaine Gresham. One on the sideline that was really nice, and the other one in the end zone for a touchdown that was a nice play as well. But, going back to Andy Dalton, when he throws a deep ball, he's just letting it go and just hoping that it gets caught. There's really not a lot of technique there with him. He definitely has to work on that. I know he doesn't have the strongest arm, but he has to really work on his deep passes, because they're, going against a better secondary, those passes may get picked off because he's just lobbing it up there, and it'll give a good safety enough time to get over there and make the play. But yesterday, those were the best plays that the Bengals had offensively. So special teams, I'm okay with what they did. Kevin Huber, he played well. He had some good punts. One bad one, and I saw the special teams coach really get on him after the play. But, he had a good day. Field goal kicker at the end, Mike Nugent, played well as too. So all around, it was a good comeback win. I think the team needed it. Another guy that I think should get some more time, Little Hawkins, the receiver. And Andrew Hawkins is a guy who played in the CFL. Archer Hawkins' little brother. He got in early and caught a quick screen pass and got a nice first down when the Bengals were struggling offensively, and got him going a little bit. I think the Bengals need to put this guy in on punt return, maybe kick return, take out Brandon Tate. Brandon Tate is struggling. He's not making any plays. I know that he made plays for the New England Patriots last year, but here he's not doing it. So if it's up to me, I would look at replacing Tate and putting Hawkins in and just seeing what he can. Hawkins is a small guy. He's quick, change of pace. A lot of people don't have film on him, so they may not know his tendencies. So maybe it's time to get a spark that way with Hawkins back there instead of Tate. And I know they got rid of Quan Cosby, so they may want to justify getting rid of him and keeping Tate in there. But to me, Hawkins he might be the the guy to put back there to get something going in the punt return game. So good game for the Bengals. It wasn't the way I saw it going. They eked it out at the end, but a win is a win. And they're at 2-2 in a good spot in the division with the other teams struggling. So I like what I saw. Hopefully they can come back and do it again next week.